Back to this is part two, negative forces. Sorry, I am at the Impact Hub. People will stop in. I guess I'm just going to continue the broadcast with or without talking to me, however it works. So, the next one is intimacy. There is a time when people are intimate. And sometimes in a relationship, it can get very abusive. It can get messed up to the point where people don't don't appreciate, you know what I'm saying, one another, and don't respect what each other wants to do in their lives or what their work ethic is. There's many a times where you can be in a relationship and the person can put you down and the person cannot believe in you and the person can turn against you and make you feel like your dreams and your goals are not important and that your dreams and your goals are unworthy, you know what I'm saying, of recognition or unworthy of you to be this person, and it's kind of hard when someone is achieving a goal or purpose higher than yours. Sometimes jealousy gets involved and we have a tendency to, you know what I'm saying, put people down for what they want to do with their lives or how they want to live their lives. And it is truly unfair to sit there and to have a relationship and you not being able to, share with that intimate person how you feel about certain things or what you want to be. You should be able to be honest. You should be able to be open. You should be able to, you know what I'm saying, feel how you feel and be how you want to be. You know what I'm saying? But if a person is in your life, whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and they don't respect you or respect your thought process or respect how you feel, or they want to change you, then maybe that's not the person you should be with. Like, you want the person to accept you for you. You want the person to love you for you. And then there are times where we go out of here and we go out our way to do things for that one person that we love so much and we care about so much. And then in return, we get shitted on. Nobody does anything for us. We get our heart broken and our feelings hurt, and then we end up doing things and spending money on a person who technically does not deserve it, technically who's unworthy of it, doesn't appreciate it as much as you would like them to. So, it has a tendency to be difficult from time to time. And it has a tendency to be harder to deal with forces when they are in a negative aspect, especially when it comes from the side of relationships. Because I know from one that I am the queen of totally screwed up relationships. And because I am the queen of totally screwed up relationships, I can tell you firsthand sometimes that it's a toxic force that you have to get out of your system and you have to get out of your life, and you cannot allow, no matter how much you love a person, for them to just come and decide what's best for you, what's right for you, how you should live, how you should think, how you should feel, how you should, just in general, how you should react to certain things. Everybody has been given free will. And because we've all been given free will, then we should have the free will to do and think as we please and share our thoughts and be honest and be open with one another without having to feel that we're scared to tell our spouse or anybody that we're in a relationship with. You should never be afraid to be yourself in a relationship. And if you can't be yourself in a relationship, then that's a toxic relationship, and you really shouldn't be with someone like that. That's a negative force. You should have a relationship where you can trust that person and know that no matter what you say and what you do, and no matter how silly or stupid you are, that person is there for you and only you. Now, that doesn't always work for all of us. So, what do we have to do? We have to get out of toxic relationships and negative forces. I, for one, myself, have been in a few of them. I recently was in one last year, this time. I think it was between March and July 31st. I'll never forget it. And I thought it was going to go somewhere, and I thought it was going to be a decent type of relationship. He seemed cool. He seemed like we were on the same page. But then you start to notice things about people, and you start to discover the true person and who they really are. And once you start to discover who somebody truly is, it makes you think and wonder, well, you know what I'm saying? Do you want this person in your life? And then it comes to the point where you're at that point where you're stuck with that person in your life until it's like you have to find any way to get out of the relationship. And for me, it was really hard because it got down to the point where, and I'm not the only person this has happened to, it's gotten down to the point where it's been threatening, life threatening. It's it's not safe for me, it's not safe for my daughter. And as soon as I knew my daughter was being taken and she couldn't no longer stay and I couldn't keep her in a home with such toxic people in my life, I just, I just got rid of them. I just completely couldn't do it anymore, couldn't have him in my life. I didn't feel safe. And yeah, it was hard because I was scared, but at the same time, I found the force and the will and the drive in which to do it. So, as frightening as it was, as hard as it was, I did find the force and the will to drive to just break free and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do this no more. I'm not going to let a person hold me down. I'm not going to let a man decide and pick and choose for me what's best for me and what I should do. I decided I need to do what's best for me, and I need to do what's making me happy. And then the same thing goes for a man. If a woman is being a negative force and she's trying to suck you dry, then maybe that person just isn't meant for you. And sometimes we have to accept it, and sometimes we have to, you know what I'm saying, just be like, okay, it is what it is, and keep it moving. It's the only way sometimes that these things work, is when we say, okay, it is what it is, keep it moving. And I've learned after being in a long relationship with my daughter's father that it's like, okay, if it's meant to happen, if I'm meant to be happy with someone, which I'm starting to see might be possible now, then, you know what I'm saying, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows what will happen? But I can never say never. Another negative force in your life is socially. Now, sometimes being the popular one and having all the friends in the world ain't too cool. There are times where being the popular one and having all the friends and everything have a tendency to cause a problem. And sometimes being too popular can really screw a person up. And it could really damage, you know what I'm saying, relationships, especially when friends are jealous, especially when they have forces that, you know what I'm saying, things that are going better for them and not going for another person. Misery loves company. And friends will be the first one to be like, nah, you can't do that, or why would you do that? All because they can't do it. But think about it like this. You should only keep the people around you who are true to you, who are good to you, who are loyal to you, who understand you, you know what I'm saying, who are there for you. Everybody else truly doesn't matter, and you can easily just, with a flick of your wrist, just get rid of them, because what is the point of having so many negative friends. Like friends come and go. You know what I'm saying? Hello. Friends come, friends go. So it all depends. You can always make new friends. You know what I'm saying? You can always have more friends. Like that's never a problem. So, don't stress it if it's like if you lose a friend. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're young and you're like in your teens or you're in your, you know what I'm saying, in your early 20s. It's like, my God, I'm only 32. I've got a whole bunch of friends to live for and a whole bunch of friends to wait for, and it's like it's not a big rush, you know what I'm saying, like to have a whole lot of friends in life. And think about it like this: the positive ones, the positive ones will stay in your life forever. They'll never put you down. They'll always have your back. You can do the dumbest shit in the world and they will still sit there and be like, yeah, you're still my friend. You know how many friends that I have that I don't agree with half the shit they do? I swear, I kid you not, I do not agree with half the shit they do. I be looking at my friends like, word, really? Really? You want to do that? You sure about that? I don't know. I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with it. Like, look, my sister-in-law, she about to have her third baby. Now, even though this is family, I don't talk to her like that. So at least I see her on a social level. She about to have the third baby. My niece, first off, is gonna be 6. Okay? My niece is gonna be 6. Then, on top of my niece being 6, okay, and then her baby is 8, and her baby's 8, and not baby, her baby's 8 months. Yeah, 8 months. And then her daughter is, you know what I'm saying, her next kid is not even born yet. Like, it's crazy. And I'm looking at them like, and she's like, oh, well, I had 8 kids. Or her mom, not she had 8 kids, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, my mom or her grandma had 8 kids, so if she could do it, I think, you know what I'm saying, I'll be okay. And I'm like, yeah, but she don't have the problem. Did she have the problems that you had? Like, I'm not gonna blow up her shit. I'm just saying, like, as much as I love her, like, some of the problems she got going on is like, oh, I think I can do it. I'm like, all right, but still, like, back then, yeah, you can have 8 kids. Like, it's just crazy, and I don't even know how to, like, respond to it. Like, so what do? I just sit here and I'll be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? If it works for you, it works for you. That is what negative forces, you know what I'm saying? That's a positive force. When someone can sit there and tell you, you know what I'm saying? Okay, if it works for you, fine. But if someone sits there and goes, well, you can't have all that goddamn babies. You stupid. You don't know how to take care of children and all that. That's a negative influence, and that's a negative force. Unless it's like at the point where like the person is like having a drug addiction or a drug addiction, and it's like, okay, well, you just can't do this. You know what I'm saying? You just don't need. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Like, it's just absolutely crazy how people can sit there and say they're friends with someone and yet they be a negative impact and a negative force in their lives. And I'm sorry for the moments of me like getting silent and not saying it. It's just like I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking like about how I've dealt with these types of people. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But I just I can't sit here and just like let it fly by where we allowing negative forces to continue in our lives, and then these negative forces control what we do, how we think, who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially socially. Friends have a tendency to really screw you up. Like, sometimes we think more of impressing our friends than we do our family, and that has a tendency to be really, really bad when we want to impress our friends rather than family. I'm not a hypocrite. I've done so many things in my life that I'm not proud of, and I think that's one of them that I have done, is I've tried to impress friends over family. And because I've tried to impress friends over family, it's had a tendency to bite me in the ass. And that's kind of how it's been, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just had a tendency to have me bit in the ass, like, because the people that I expected to be there, that was supposed to be my friends, were the negative forces in my life, and then they turned on me. So that sucks. Another negative force can be work. Work can be a negative force, especially if you're not happy with what you do. So if you're not happy in what you're doing and how you're doing stuff and your career and your goals, that can also be a negative force in your life. Which it can make you unhappy. It can make you miserable. I can tell you for a fact, last year my job was the most unhappiest job ever. All because of just their ethics, their code, their beliefs. And now it's like, I'm better because I'm happy at what I'm doing. I'm glad to be doing what it is that I'm doing. And I'm glad that I have the creative freedom to do what it is that I want to do with my life. And my daughter sees that, and then I know that because my daughter sees it, I can then show her that she can do and be anything. And I think that's the most important thing that I've learned over the years, is just being happy with what I do, being happy with how I do it, and not being afraid to do it, even if I have absolutely nothing in my pocket, not a dime in my pocket. As long as I'm happy, as long as my daughter is happy, as long as everybody is taken care of, then that is all that matters. Like, it's the most important thing in my life to me. She is the most important thing in my life to me. So if I can be positive, you know what I'm saying, and remove these negative forces in my life, so can you. Like, it's not easy. Sometimes we're used to doing stuff all the time, same situation every day, same this, that, and the third every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's just, it is what it is. I can't, it's really hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard. And if there's one thing that I realize, is that sometimes you just have to go for it. Just give it a shot. See what the hell happens. Like, you only have one life. So if you sit around and you just, don't live life and let these negative forces and negative people come into your life and destroy everything and anything you hold dear, then the question is, what was the purpose? Why did you even start something? You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Why keep negative people in your life if all they're doing is bringing you down, upsetting you, making you miserable? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point to living like that. There's no point to being that miserable, and there's no point to being that unhappy. Like, you shouldn't have to be miserable, and you shouldn't have to be unhappy. Like, nobody wants to be. Like, nobody wakes up in the morning and decides, yeah, I want to be unhappy, I want to be miserable. No. That is not how we will. At least that's not how I wake up in the morning. I don't wake up in the morning like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who doesn't want to be happy? Like who does not want to have a good time? Who does not want to, what I'm saying, do as much as they can with their life, with the period of time that they have? And it's cool, when you can stand up and say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired and I don't want to do this no more. And that's because there's negative forces in our life that make us feel that way. And then it ruins our mood and makes us unhappy and grumpy and upset, and it just takes all the energy out of us and screws our feng shui, and it just ruins everything. And the one thing you don't want to do is just be negative and unhappy in your life all the time. So the best thing that you can do as a person when it comes to negative forces is just throw them out, get rid of them. And trust me, it's not easy. I've been tried it many years. I tried it for many years, and it just took me recently now, after 10 years, to just realize, okay, I gotta get rid of this person, and that person. And I feel better now. So it's, like I said, negative forces, they're not needed. Trust me, you don't need them. You'll be happier without them. And I myself know, listen to me right now. I am sitting here. It doesn't matter if there's a sound playing. It doesn't matter if there are people talking. I'm around good people, good fun, and they respect me, and that's all that matters. So thank you. Enjoy your day. Thank you for joining me, myself, and I, Negative Forces. Catch the episodes again on iTunes Podcast and Pocket Cast, or Google Play and Pocket Cast, and soon to come to iHeartRadio. So I want to thank everybody. Enjoy your day. Namaste. Love ya.